What is going on, everybody? This is Josh from Sorcerer Studios, and welcome back to another video, and this is episode 21 of the Dungeon Game Dev series. Now in this video, I'm going to begin the animations for the attack system for the Sentinel. So basically, my goal for this episode is to begin the process of when the Sentinel sees Ethan, which will be right about now, that he will follow him, and then when he stops, he will begin swinging away. So that is the goal that I have. And as we can see, Mr. Brute is ready to sneak up on us, but he can't because there's this little gap. So no, Mr. Brute, you cannot sneak up on me today. But that is what I'm going to do for this episode. I'm going to begin the attack animation implementation for the Sentinel. So without further ado, let's begin. So here's the draft code that I have, and this doesn't work yet, but it almost does. So I have the nav mesh agent, I have the animator, and this script is on the Sentinel, by the way. And then I have number of attacks, and if you saw from the last episode, we had 3 attacks on the Sentinel. So in void start, we just get the nav mesh agent and the animator. And in update, so here's where the real magic comes. So basically, if the Sentinel is stopped, meaning that he's not moving, and he sees Ethan, then that gives him permission to attack. Because as you saw at the beginning, the Sentinel stops when he gets within swinging range of Ethan. And if he doesn't see Ethan, then I see Ethan will be false. So only if the Sentinel is within swinging range of Ethan will this activate. And if it does activate, it basically invokes a start swinging method every 1 second, and that's just a test number. We're going to have to see if that works. In fact, I'll probably make this a variable just to make it so that we can set the interval in which, or the frequency in which the Sentinel can swing, because I'm planning on putting this on other enemies as well. That's why I have number of attacks as a variable, not a set number, because other enemies might have 5 attacks. So that's why I have that. And if this is not true, then it cancels the invoke. Now here's the part where it doesn't work yet. I haven't implemented the actual animations yet, so I'm just going to test and see if the swinging message gets printed every 1 second when the Sentinel gets in range of Ethan. So we're about to find out. So I was kind of messing around with it just to see if it would work, and it wasn't, so I was thinking, why? Well, I realized I never put the script on. Haha, so let me try that again and see if it works. So for some reason it doesn't work so far. Currently it just says hi, which is from another script. In fact, I should probably get rid of that. But let's see what I did wrong. So I did find a few errors with my script, and I wasn't really sure what the errors were. I think they were logical errors, so I wasn't exactly sure how to fix them at the time. So what I did was, so basically the Sentinel was not swinging when he got close to Ethan, and I believe it had something to do with the nav mesh agent somehow not detecting that it stopped. So instead, I have it detecting if the animation parameter equals 0. And that basically happens every time the Sentinel is in the idle animation. And he's only in the idle animation in 2 conditions: when he doesn't see Ethan, or if he is within range of Ethan of swinging and he does see him. So, and this will cancel out the facts of him not seeing Ethan. So this should work just as well as the nav mesh agent. Now there is one more little error, and I already know how to fix it, but I'll show you what the error is and then I'll fix it. So basically, it detects if the Sentinel can swing at Ethan, and then it does a repeating invoke to start swinging every 1 second. So then it goes down here, and well, for now it prints swinging every 1 second. But the problem is that this if statement is run every single frame, which means that if the Sentinel sees him every frame, then it will tell it to invoke it every 1 second, every single frame. So it basically defaults to him swinging every single frame, like doing one swing per frame. And that is a ton of swings. So that's not what I want. So what I want is, I just want him to swing at him every second. So instead of having this if statement in the update, I'm just going to make another function, or another void. Actually, I might keep it in here, so I think I'll call this swing for now, and I'm going to move this. I'm going to cut and paste. I'm going to move it here. So we don't need this anymore, and we don't need this anymore, and we can move this here. And in the start menu, or in the start method, we're going to create a invoke repeating, and we'll call this swing starting every 1 second and every 1 second. So now the purpose of the swing method is to detect if the sentinel can swing at him, and if he can, then it prints swinging. So let's see if this method works for what I have. So let's see if this works. So the sentinel's going to me, and we will see if he's swinging if we go to the left hand corner here, and if it says swinging, then it works. So when he stops, okay, so it says swinging. Now let's bring up the command window and see. Okay, it seems to be swinging every second, so we are in the clear right now. So we finally got that to work. So now that we got that to work, I'm probably going to change the every 1 second to a variable, just so we can easily dictate how often he swings. And I'm going to attempt to bring in the swinging animations now. So let's see what we do. So I got that set up. I got the rate of attack, and in the start method we have invoke repeating swing, and it begins at rate of attack, and it does it every rate of attack at that interval. So we can have like every 0.5 seconds or every 3 seconds or something of that sort. So now when he begins swinging, I have an integer attack number, which is random range between 0 and number of attacks. So let's say it's 3. In this case, it actually is going to be 3. It'll choose between 0, 1, and 2. So it will choose between those 3 numbers, and for now, I just have print attack number. So we're going to see which type of attack the sentinel does when he attacks Ethan. So let's see what attacks he has for us today. So he sees me, and as a small reminder, just look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and if we go towards him, let's see, attack 1, attack 2, attack 0, attack 2, you get the picture. So it basically randomizes the attack number, and it will perform it every single second. Now, the sentinel is a little bit slow as far as attacks go, so it will probably be maybe every 3 or 4 seconds, but we will fine-tune that when we get to the animations, and that is actually what I'm going to start doing right now. So I'm going to put in the animations, and we're going to see if this works. This will probably be the most difficult part in terms of getting it to work. So without further ado, let's see what we can do. So one quick thing to mention before I implement the animations to it, I actually had to switch the number of attacks to an array called attack parameters, and I set the size, and this size will be the number of attacks. But then these 3 elements will be all of the parameters of the attack animation. So if I go into the animator, you can see that the first attack, that is parameter, well, going to it would be parameter 2, and then going to attack 2 would be parameter 3, and then going to attack 3 would be parameter 4. So we have 2, 3, and 4. And I had to create this array because what if the attack parameters were not 0, 1, and 2? So that's pretty much why I made the array, and in the code it looks like this. So public int array attack parameters, and this is just a bunch of test code that I can delete. And let's see, so here's our random range. So it selects between the bottom number of the attack array and the top number, so the first number and the last number. And the last number I represented by taking the first number and adding the length. And this only works if the attack parameters go up by 1, which it would be pretty difficult to not. So in this case, and in this case only, pretty much 100 times out of 100, the attack parameters will go up by 1. So that's the one thing that I wanted to mention before implementing the animations. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I kind of got a sneak peek at it before showing you guys, but yes, it does work. There are a ton of bugs, as usual. And by bugs, I mean things that obviously need to be fixed. But let's see what happens. So yes, this is going to look a little silly, but let's just see. So he stops, and he begins swinging. Yes, he is swinging, but as you can see, his range is his accuracy is absolutely terrible. So we're definitely gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to find a way to make it so that the sentinel is always pointed towards Ethan when he's swinging. So that's definitely something that we're gonna have to do. In fact, let's see if I can get a start on that right now. Well, actually, first, let's just kind of play around with it and see what happens if we really quickly get in and out of his range. So it doesn't start attacking until the rate of time after. I think I have it at 2 seconds right now, so he's supposed to swing every 2 seconds, but it seems like obviously he's not doing it every 2 seconds. So we're going to have to see what is wrong with that. But let's see before the end of this video if I can begin getting him to point towards Ethan. So I don't think I have time for actually beginning that in this episode, but there are a couple of other things that I want to do. And the first thing I want to do is show you how I actually got the animations to work. So it really only took one line of code, and this print is not necessary anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that. So basically the only code is animator, which is our animator here, and sets integer animation parameter to our attack number, and that's pretty much all. And that is pretty much it to the attack animations, at least the basic ones, and setting them up. There's definitely a lot of things that can be improved with it, but yes, this is the very basic version of it for now. So now I'm going to show you one more thing. So as you know, I always like to have a little bit of fun towards the end of the episode, so I put together like 6 or 7 sentinels, and I just want them to kind of attack Ethan just to have some fun. So obviously the camo, well, I think I think Ethan has a very high camo value, so he should be going down a little bit slowly, but there's a ton of sentinels, so they see him rather quickly. And let's run around. Let's have Ethan. Nope, can't pick it up now. Ethan has to run away. Okay, there we go. Now Ethan has a sword. Now Ethan obviously can't damage them, and they can't damage him, but let's just see what this looks like when the sentinels are hammering away. So they stop, and they all begin swinging in absolutely the wrong direction. But guys, this is a successful mission. Ooh, they stopped. Okay. Oh, no, they didn't stop. Okay. That's very weird. So, okay, we were slightly successful. I guess I had to take a little bit of a break. But, so anyways, guys, that is the episode where we make the attack animations for these guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and in the next video, we're going to hopefully work on optimizing this. And without further ado, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.